Hello and welcome to today's webinar. Whether your firm currently has a document management system or your firm is considering adopting one for the first time, this webinar is the perfect opportunity. Together, WAMS and iManage plan to briefly educate you on the benefits of having a DMS and show you how this solution can better serve your firm and, more importantly, your clients. To briefly touch on who we are, WAMS has been providing law firms and businesses with computer consulting and support services since 1974. As one of the oldest and most respected law firm automation consultants and integrators in Southern California, WAMS continues its reputation for quality and service today by installing and maintaining computer systems for hundreds of law firms and businesses. We keep our implementation agreements friendly and flexible to take advantage of opportunities that will benefit both the customer and WAMS. From start to finish, WAMS cares about your business and wants to support you to be as successful as you can be. Today we are joined by WAMS Managing Consultant Brian Piatek, WAMS Account Manager Mike Powers, and iManage Director of Pre-Sales Scott Dumore. We will discuss the latest trends in legal IT that we have been seeing, including challenges that law firms today are facing. We will then touch on why we highly recommend implementing a document management system for your firm and the benefits you will experience, as well as an overview of iManage's DMS solution, including a demonstration of the platform. Next, we will go into a Q&A. Questions can be entered at any time throughout the presentation, and we will address as many as we can during the Q&A period. To wrap it all up, Mike Powers will explain your next steps and options for implementation. And now Brian Piatek from WAMS will start off our discussion on trends in legal IT.
Good morning. So the reasons why law firms want to go to a document management system are multifold, but mostly it is about driving the efficiency of the firms. Okay? Staffs are shrinking, the attorneys are having to do more and more work by themselves, and resources are generally scarce. So what becomes very, very important is for the attorneys to be able to find their documents, to search for their documents more quickly. And that's what a document management system can do. There have been lots of studies done over the years, but generally speaking, it is that the results of those are that attorneys without the ability to locate their documents quickly and then to actually search outside of the scope of the particular case that they're working on, that they can waste, on average, 20 to 30 minutes a day, which, when you actually figure that out, that's 150 hours per attorney per year of lost productivity. Now, that translates into obviously thousands of dollars for the law firm, but it also translates into sheer bonus dollars for the attorneys. You know, if that is sometimes the seminal difference between whether or not they're going to turn that $1,600, $1,800, or $2,000 in a given year, depending on the type of law practice it is. So that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to make it so that all of the documents and all of the emails that pertain to a particular matter or case or what have you, as to how you describe your client's file, that all of them are in one single place so that you can find all of them all at once. Okay? It makes it easier for the sole practitioner. It makes it easier for the partner who's managing the file for the client, where maybe they have 2 attorneys and 3 paralegals all working on a single matter. They need to be able to find out what's happening in a case when it comes time to talk to the client about, what's been going on. So it puts all of that into a single place. Okay? In the end, the attorney is able to collaborate better, both internally, obviously, if you're having multiple people working on a matter, but also with their clients now. Okay, and there's the ability with modern document management systems to securely share a document to either their client or some other, like an expert or something like that, so that they can collaborate more easily. So, but it's done in a secure manner. That's very, very important. And then, interestingly enough, it's also possible to check the efficiency of your staff if you have to find out, exactly what are they doing. You can actually do that with a document management system. So, what we're trying to do, with a DMS is we're trying to enable the attorney to find those little nuggets of gold that are inside of their documents, so that they can go and they can say, I wrote something about that 5 years ago. I'm not really sure where that is. They can find that, and they can use that paragraph or two that they remember. Okay. So all of this is about the client in the end. I mean, everything that we do, both as WAMS as a service provider to a law firm, and law firms to their clients, it's really all about the client. So we want to be able to respond quickly. Clients are expecting that they have answers faster and faster and faster. I mean, if you've been in law firms for many years, you remember the days where a matter before email, certainly, that it would take days to correspond. Now it takes hours, sometimes even minutes. Okay, and that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to be responsive. And if you can get to your documents, if you can see the flow of documents, if you can see emails as a conversation, which you can now do in a DMS, then you can see and you can respond better to your client's demands. And incidentally, all of the attorneys that are coming out of law schools and that are practicing, all of the young attorneys, they all have the expectation that they will have some type of a technology boost to help their practice. So with regards to talking about, well, here it's right here on the screen, regulatory compliance. The last thing a law firm ever wants to hear is the word breach. Okay? You never want to compromise your client's documents. Unfortunately, that is very easy in a non-secure, unencrypted repository that is simply on site at the client at the law firm site. What is expected now is that documents will be kept in an encrypted fashion, that they are secured in multiple manners, and a DMS allows you to do all, and still makes it easy to get to them. So, and then just in terms of sheer compliance, law firms forced more and more to adhere to the ABA standards of how long do you keep a document, how long do you keep a client correspondence, how long do you keep judgments and things like that. So a DMS allows you to do all of that, and a DMS now has links to records management, where you can also manage all of the paper files, at the same time as you manage your electronic files. So all of that can be wrapped up into essentially one sphere of programming. So that's what we're aiming to do for our clients, and that's what we're trying to show you here with this with iManage. It's a great tool to do all of this. And Scott, I think that you can easily show this for show our clients, how this all wraps in together. Scott?
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Shall I take it away, Brian?
Please.
Okay. Ashley, did you want to pass control over to me, and I'll go ahead and share my screen and take it from there? Okay. So I think Brian did a great job of setting up, document management in the legal marketplace. And what I want to talk to you about is exactly what he said. How does iManage, in partnership with WAMS, help you to realize all this great stuff? Well, first off, a little bit about us. Who is iManage? Some of you may be familiar with us. We haven't been around quite as long as the folks at WAMS, but we have been in the legal industry for the last 20 years. We have lots and lots of law firm clients. Makes up the majority of our customer base. So we have a pedigree in managing, highly sensitive content specifically for the legal market. And I think most importantly, we can accommodate you whether you want to have an on-premises solution or if you want to move to the cloud. And we're seeing more and more of our customers moving to the cloud. It's a great solution, lowers your total cost of ownership, and iManage has a great solution for you there. So what makes up the iManage platform? Well, this is it. And, the biggest circle there is iManage Work 10, and that's what I'm going to be showing you today. We refer to this as work product management because when you look at our entire product suite with Work 10 at the core, as well as our iManage Govern records management and governance solution, iManage Share, which is our external collaboration solution in the cloud, and iManage Insight for knowledge management and analytics, this truly makes up what we refer to as work product management because that's what we're doing. And that's what Brian was really getting at. All of your work product around your matters that you work on, whether they're documents, emails, whatever the case may be, that is your work product. That is your currency. That is what you produce, and we are here to help you manage that. So when we look at iManage Work 10, as I said, this is our latest release. It's at the core of our solution. This is the development process that we went through. There was a pretty dramatic sea change from what we refer to as our classic solution to iManage Work 10, and we're very excited about it. We're very happy with what we produced. And first and foremost, it was designed by users. It was designed by lawyers. We put this product, when it was in beta, in front of numerous attorneys and let them use it, and we got their feedback. So we really wanted to match it to the way that attorneys work and not the other way around. You have a single user experience across any device. As Brian said, especially new attorneys just coming into the workforce today, they want to be able to do everything on their phone, on their tablet, whatever wherever they're at, and with whatever device they're using. So we knew that we had to build something that provided the same functionality, whether you were on your desktop, your phone, or your tablet. The system is smart. You'll see this in the demonstration. It has the ability to anticipate what it is you want to do. Easy to use. I think that goes without saying, but more to the point, we recognize that really what we were competing against are things like Amazon and Zappos. And what I mean by that is that when people go to consumer websites or when they download an app on their phone, they don't expect to have to be trained on it. They expect to be able to use it and be productive with it right from the get-go. And they have the same expectation of their enterprise solutions. So that was the standard we had to develop to, and I think we accomplished that. And finally, it's tuned for today's information volumes. And what you'll see in the demo is that it doesn't matter how many documents you have. It doesn't matter how many matters you have in your system or clients. You should have the same level of performance as you're going through and viewing things and looking at things and doing searches. And we've done some things specifically on the back end to make sure that is indeed the case. So again, Work 10, as I said, it's at our core, and it really focuses on these three key themes. Cloud first. What you'll see is that this was developed for the cloud. It can be deployed on premises, but again, if you are looking at the cloud, this is a solution that was developed specifically for the cloud that you could access from any device anywhere. User experience. I mentioned that during the beta process, we put this in front of actual attorneys. We would put it in front of them without any training. We would ask them to perform a task. And if they could perform that task, then we knew that we were on the right track. If they couldn't, we knew we had to go back to the drawing board. So again, user experience is key. And as I said numerous times, anywhere access. I want to have that same experience, whether I'm on my desktop, my phone, or my tablet. So again, I talked about the cloud. iManage Work 10 is great for the cloud. And when when we look at the cloud infrastructure itself, we have made a big investment in this area to ensure that we're not only able to provide you a solution that provides that great user experience I talked about, but that we have the back-end technologies and infrastructure to continue to support you in perpetuity into the future. And so when you really look at the technologies we have going on behind the scenes, this is one of our biggest areas of investment. It consists of a number of things, and I won't go into a lot of technical detail here, but what we've done is we've built an elastic architecture. And what this essentially means is that the true cloud has to actually perform better the heavier the load. So the more users you have on it, the more customers you have hitting your cloud, the more users that are using your solution, not only does it need to keep up, but it should actually perform better as it gets bigger, and that's what we've done. No single point of failure, no downtime. I can't afford it. The ability to do rolling upgrades. That means that we can upgrade the system without having to take it down. For you, that means you never have to worry about downtime or any types of system maintenance. Integrated analytics. We're introducing a new solution called iManage Threat Manager. It's based on our analytics solution. You'll see that today in the demo, and this is allowing you to gain insights into your system, particularly from a security standpoint. Brian mentioned that one of the biggest fears is a breach. And what we find is that most of the time it's not the perimeter that gets breached, it's an inside job. It's a phishing scam that was successful and now has internal access to your system. How do you detect those types of things and deal with them? And that's what our integrated analytics do. And of course, encryption of your content goes without saying, both at rest and in motion, with the ability for you to manage your own encryption keys. And we can provide either a single tenant or a multi-tenant solution. So if you do have a requirement to have a single tenant solution, meaning you're the only user on your instance of the system, we can do that in our cloud. Okay. So as I said, when we actually look at the solution itself, the user experience, we like to refer to it as SMART. And again, what we mean is that it really anticipates what it is that you're looking for. So when you come into the system, you should see the things that you've recently been working on. You should be able to pick up where you left off. When you're previewing documents, it should be efficient. You should be able to have the same experience. Again, whether you're looking at a one-page document or a 500-page document, either on your desktop or on your phone, it should all work the same way. It should be personalized. When I do a search, what comes back should be relevant to me. And it should be able to be used without any training. We provide smart help, so as you go through the system, you get little hints telling you what to do. So these are all things that make that up. For anybody that may be familiar with iManage, maybe you're an existing customer today and you came in here just to learn about what we're doing in version 10, we have introduced a completely new administration user experience. This allows you, particularly if you're a cloud customer, to easily administer your system, not just users and groups, but workspaces or matter files, the ability to manage deleted documents via a trash bin feature, which is new in version 10. These are all things that we've introduced in the new iManage Control Center administrative user experience, which was something that frankly was a long time coming, and again, we're very excited with what we've turned out there. Now, I mentioned briefly before iManage Share. This is an integral part of the iManage solution, and it integrates into version 10. What it is it's an integration with your document management system, with your iManage work product management system on-premise or in the cloud, with our cloud-based external collaboration solution. So think of something like Dropbox. And if you've ever used Dropbox or Box.net, typically you take a document, you upload it to the cloud, and then from there you can go ahead and send a link to the document directly into your Dropbox. We can do the same thing with iManage, But the benefit is that since it's so tightly integrated, you never lose control of that content. Your users have that same consumer level ease of use that they might have with a consumer level application, but they're able to do it all within iManage. And you never lose control. You have an audit trail. You can bring the content back from the cloud. It's really a great solution, and I'll talk about that as well. Now, I did mention analytics, specifically threat analytics, and iManage Threat Manager, and I do apologize, my slides seem to want to move on their own here. iManage Threat Manager is a completely new direction for us. What we've done is we've tried to address that risk area that I mentioned, where the threat is not coming from the perimeter, but from inside your environment. You have a bad actor or somebody that's actually gained legitimate access to your system with compromised credentials. How do you detect that illicit behavior? How do you know when somebody is actually stealing your data? Not trying to break through your firewall, they're already in. How do you know based on activity that they're doing something illicit, as I said, and how do you capture that? And that's what Threat Manager is all about. You'll see a quick demo of that as well. And then also in the realm of security is a new product called iManage Security Policy Manager. If you use an ethical wall today, there's a lot of ethical wall products on the market that basically allow you to enforce either ethical or business conflicts on a matter-by-matter basis. iManage Security Policy Manager does that, but it takes it to another level. It's really based on need-to-know access. So it's not just ethical walls based on conflicts. It can be based on practice group. It can be based on opposing client and matter teams. It can be based, even when you have a conflict, you can still provide temporary or temporal need-to-know access to sensitive content. And it can apply to systems, not only iManage, but systems outside of that, such as our records management system, your Windows file shares, time and billing systems, and so forth. So again, Security Policy Manager is another new product for us. It's a new direction. And something that we're very excited about. So all that said, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the product? I'm going to go ahead and switch over to my demo here. And what you're seeing here is iManage Work 10. This is it. So when you log in at the beginning of the day, this is what you're going to see. And what you're looking at here is basically the timeline view of everything that you've been doing. As I said before, this is allowing me to pick up where I left off. So the first thing I see is my recent documents, and I see things that I've worked on today. I can see things from last week, even going back farther in time. I can use filters that we have here on the left-hand side to easily filter this information and slice and dice it. So for example, if I only wanted to see those things that I've recently edited, I could deselect view, or I could go ahead and add it back. Maybe I just want to see things from today, or from the last week, or within the last month. Easy enough for me to sift through the information that way. Or maybe I'm just looking for things that I worked on in the last week that happen to be a Word document or happen to be a PDF, whatever the case may be. Very, very easy for me to, as I said, sift through the information using the filters that I have here, just looking at my recent documents. Now, of course, searching, being able to search the system is paramount. We know we need to be able to do that, and search is top and center in iManage Work 10. So if I come up here to the search, first thing you're going to notice is if I want to do a search for the word agreement, this is what I meant when I said the system is smart. It anticipates what it is I'm looking for. So it sees that I'm searching for the word agreement. It says, well, you may be searching for a keyword in the body text of a document, or maybe you just want the title. So if I go ahead and tap on title, now it's run that search specifically for that word in the title of a document. So if you contrast that with a traditional document management system, normally what you would have had to have done is bring up a profile form. It would have had lots of empty fields. You would have had to find the field, put the word in, hit OK, and then let the search run and bring your results back. Again, we're just trying to make it simple. We're reducing the number of clicks. We're anticipating what the user might want. We're reducing the amount of information to make sure that it's intuitive and gives you just what you need when you need it. So again, I run that search, and notice that highlighted here is personalized. This is something else I touched on in the presentation. Personalization is key. When I run a search, I want the results to come back and be relevant just to me. I want to tune out the noise. If I'm looking for an agreement, it should be an agreement that I know that I've worked on, perhaps within the last 30 days or within the last 6 months, whatever the case may be. Maybe I just worked on it yesterday. The point is that it needs to be relevant to me. So personalized means that the results are automatically scoped to documents that belong to matters or clients that you've recently worked on. So that's what that means. Now, if I wanted to expand my search, all I have to do is click All. Notice now that my results go up to 196. That's searching system-wide. That includes documents that maybe only Brian has worked on or somebody else. But again, personalized ensures that by default, I'm just seeing those things that are truly relevant to me. Now, I wanted to give you a few other examples of searching here. I'm going to go ahead and I got a document here. Notice that it's got some information underneath it, and one of those is the document number 66836. Now, a lot of times, secretaries in particular like to just search by the document number. So notice that when I type in the number here, the system, again, it's smart. It knows that I'm typing in a number, and it says, I see that you might be searching for the document number. I go ahead and tap on that. It takes me right to the document. What if I were looking for something written by a particular person? Maybe I am looking for documents that were authored by Andrew Case. So I type in the word Andrew, and once again, it anticipates. It says, I see Andrew. I know that Andrew is a user on the system. So you might be looking for him as an author or a typist. And sure enough, when I click on it, it not only finds him, but even shows me a picture of him. Now when I click on his name, it goes ahead and runs a search. All of these are documents that were authored specifically by Andrew Case. And as you saw before, it's now simple for me to filter these just to Word documents or just to PDFs. And maybe I want to scroll down and see things just by client, just documents by Andrew Case that were PDFs for Ford Motor Company. And you start to see how simple and easy it is to tab through this information and filter it and get down to what I'm looking for. So let's take a step back here, and I'm going to go ahead and one thing I want to point out is that you notice that the user experience here is very uncluttered. We did that on purpose. We wanted to make sure that we provided a very streamlined and clean user experience, particularly for mobile devices. There are some users, though, that may want more information. They look at these documents and they say, well, where is the profile information? Where's the metadata? If this document has multiple versions, where are those? So if I were to highlight one of these documents, I can go ahead and see that information, if I want to, just with this little flyout that we have on the right-hand side. And this is showing me all the properties on this document. Things like, the author, the document type, the document class. Notice that if I scroll down here, I can see the client and matter number and even some of the security on this document. If it has multiple versions, I can see those all listed right there. If I want to actually get a preview of the document, I can get that right in line right here. Let's go ahead and tap on a different document here and bring that up. A little bit hard to see. It's kind of small, so why don't we zoom in? So our preview technology allows you to go ahead and zoom in on the document. I can kind of pan around and confirm that, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. And then if I want to open it full screen, I just go ahead and tap right there, and now it brings my preview up in full screen mode. So now I can go ahead and I can scroll through the document. One thing you'll notice is that as I'm scrolling through, we don't actually load the pages until you scroll to it. So whether this was 7 pages or 700 pages, you get the same performance because we're only going to load a few pages at a time. I can also easily search through this document. So let's say that I was looking for the word seller. I can go ahead and tap that. It's going to find all the instances of the word seller. Allows me to easily tab through the document and find all those different instances. And again, I can go ahead and go on down here and find all those instances of it. If I go over to the right-hand side to where the versions are, if I wanted to go to a previous version, I could very easily now go ahead and tap on that additional version, that second version, third version, and it would actually take me right to the same place in the document. So I wanted to point out just a few other things here. I'll go ahead and bring that up full screen again. And what you notice here is under the tools, there's a number of different functions that I can perform. I can open the document for editing. I can download a copy of it. If I wanted to upload a new version, if I had rights to do that, I could certainly do that. I can get a link to the document that I could copy and paste into an email, or I could email right from here without even having to go out to my native email application. So very easy to share the document right from here without reliance on your native email. One of the things I particularly like, though, is the timeline view. And that's what you're seeing right here. So with the timeline, what this is showing me is all of the activity on this document over time. So over the last 3 months here, I can see all of the times this document was viewed and when and who did it. If I want to see all the times it was edited or downloaded, simple enough for me to do. And I can even have a user-centric view where it'll just show me the list of users and everything they've done. So from an audit trail perspective, this is a great way of validating that this document is indeed the one that I'm looking for. Okay, so why don't we just take a step back. A few other things that I wanted to touch on here within this, this main user experience. And one of those is over here on the Matters tab. Now, what I've done is I've gone ahead and clicked on Matters, and now it's showing me a Matter-centric view. So I've gone a level up. And when I look at the recent matters, I have the same timeline view that you saw with documents. I see matters that I worked on today, yesterday, last week, farther back in time. Of course, it's simple enough for me to search through these. Let's say I was looking for something to deal with Ford Motor Company. It quickly shows me all matters for Ford Motor Company or that are related to that. What I can also do is if we go ahead and take a step back here and we go into maybe this matter right here, shows me the structure. I can easily browse through the matter structure to find documents that I'm looking for, or if I just want to see a roll-up view of all the documents across this matter, I can simply click Latest Documents, and that will show me that. So now I'm looking at all the documents, regardless of folder within this matter, and if I wanted to search within, it's automatically going to restrict my search within that matter file. So if I were looking for a particular agreement, I can run my search and notice that these 23 results now have been automatically restricted just to the Aladdin Corp acquisition. Okay. Same rules apply to clients. If I come over here to the Clients tab, this allows me to see a client-centric view. So if I prefer to see things at a client-centric level, I can do that. And again, I see clients that I've worked on today, yesterday, last week. If I were to drill down into one of these, like Ford Motor Company, it will now go ahead and show me all of the most recent matters for this particular client. If I want to search within the client, as you see right here, easy enough for me to do. I go ahead and type in lease, and now it's giving me all these results within my client, Ford Motor Company. So what we're doing here, again, is trying to make the system as intuitive as possible when we're dealing with either documents or matters or individual clients. So I'm going to go back to my main screen here, and I'm going to go ahead and open up that same document we saw before. And the question you may be asking is, well, what about editing? How do I actually edit these documents? Everything you showed me is great as far as searching and consuming content from a web browser or a mobile device, but what about editing? Well, it's pretty simple. If I go ahead and tap Edit here, it's going to open this document up in its native application. And with version 10, we have updated our integration with Microsoft Office. So when this opens up in Word, I have an iManage ribbon here that allows me to perform all iManage functions right from within Microsoft Office. So let's say I wanted to make a change here. We'll go ahead and change the percentage here to 95%. And if I wanted to save this as a new version, I just go ahead and tap on that. Brings up the new version dialog. I could put in a comment. We'll just say change percentage. And now I'll go ahead and save that version. So as easy as that, I've opened the document from the system, I made my change and saved it as a new version right from within Microsoft Word. If I wanted to instead save this as an entirely new document, of course I can do that. This goes ahead and brings up the full browsing dialog, allows me to search through. Let's say I was looking for matters and I wanted to find anything dealing with Ford Motor Company. I can go ahead and run that search, click into a matter, and from here, easily go ahead and find the location where I want to save this as an entirely new document. Of course, the profile information will be inherited from that particular workspace and folder into which I'm saving the document. A few other things to point out here on the Office integration. If I have a document here with multiple versions, as I've just created version 1 and version 2, I can actually do a word compare right from here using Word's native compare feature. So in this case, I'd be comparing version 1 to version 2, which I could then redline and save those red lines back into one of the original documents or as an entirely new document. We also have the ability to see the document timeline. Remember, I showed you this before over on the web. If I want to come in here now and see the document timeline from within Microsoft Office, I can see all that information listed right there. And again, if I want to see all the times this was downloaded or viewed over the last 3 months, very simple for me to see. And maybe I wanted to render this to a PDF. Once again, we're integrated into Microsoft Office's PDF creation capability. So from here, I could go ahead now and render this Word document as a new version or an entirely new document right from here. And if I pick new document, once again, it gives me the ability to choose a location in iManage, and now I can go ahead and save that new PDF directly into iManage. So what you should be taking away from this is not only have we provided a new, streamlined, simple to use user experience that works great both from a web browser on your desktop and your mobile device, but we've also updated our very powerful Office integration to provide you all of the functions that you need for managing your documents right from within the tools that you use to create them. Now, Brian talked in his presentation about email. So what about email? How do we file email into iManage? Well, why don't we go ahead and switch over here to Outlook, and I'll talk to you a little bit about that. So with version 10, once again, we've simplified our email management capability. What we provide now is a very simple email management toolbar that you see right here at the top. Notice that in my inbox here, I've got a number of emails have a little green circle with a check mark. That's the indicator that this email has been filed into iManage. And as I go through and I click on different emails, what you may notice is that a value pops up here where the system is actually suggesting a filing location. And if we click the drop down, we can see that there may be multiple suggested locations as long as some recent locations. And if I want to, I can actually browse the system to find a location. I can see suggestives and recents, and if I want to go ahead and browse system-wide, I just go ahead and click that. And now let's say that I'm looking for anything to do with Ford Motor Company. We'll just go ahead and come in here, click on this, and we'll select this email folder. And now I've selected yet another location right there by just simply browsing through the system, as you saw right there. If I want to go ahead and file this, all I have to do is tap the File button. That files that email directly into iManage, as easy as that. And if I come through here and I click on another email, rather than browsing for a location, if I just want to accept the suggested location, I can tap Quick File, and that'll go ahead and do the same thing. It'll just go ahead and file that email right into that location that you saw right there. Now, notice that this email right here has a couple of attachments. I have the ability to save these attachments either as an entirely new document, which once again allows me to browse through and select a location in iManage and file that document. Or if this was a document that originally came from iManage, maybe I want to bring it back as a new version. So imagine a contract that we send out, customer signs it, they send it back. Now we want to bring the signed, finalized copy back in as the latest version. I can just go ahead and click new version, find the original document, and right from there, go ahead and save that document into iManage as the latest version of the original document. So very, very simple to use. Okay. So what we've covered here so far is we've talked quite a bit about the new version 10 user experience. You've seen the updated version 10, what we refer to as the new professional Office integration, and you've also seen our email management capabilities as they exist inside of Outlook, where I can easily file emails into iManage as well as handle attachments. Okay. So what I want to do now, as we roll into the last 20 minutes or so of our presentation, is I want to talk a little bit about Threat Manager and what we're doing there. So Threat Manager, as I said, this is shifting gears a little bit. This is a new product and a new area for us where we are actually focusing on threat detection as it exists in your environment. So what you're looking at here is the main Threat Manager user experience. This is actually iManage Control Center, which is part of iManage version 10. Threat Manager is a new module that will be coming out that will actually plug into iManage Control Center and give you the analysis capabilities to run the Threat Manager solution. So what I've done is I've come in here, and the first thing I'm looking at here is an analysis. In my system, I've gone ahead and set some thresholds here. And what Threat Manager does is it basically analyzes all of the document and user activity in your system, and it comes up with these thresholds. It learns from what it's looking at what a typical user does as far as accessing different matters. So for instance here, it says, okay, for a typical user in the system, there might be over a time period, a 1-month time period, 237 document accesses, 21 email accesses, this many exports, this many views, and it basically builds a picture of what normal activity is for different users. Now, normal doesn't mean it's the same for everyone. It means that for different users, they have certain usage patterns and work patterns, and it learns those patterns. And based on the normal patterns, when it does an analysis, it can start to give you some indications of people who are operating outside their normal bounds. So there's a firm normal, and then there's a user normal. And this allows us now to see who is operating outside of those norms. So these bubbles here represent essentially the amount of activity across a number of matters. So if we look at some of the big bubbles here, what that means is that that person has had lots of activity over a large number of matters. I can go ahead and turn some of these off, and now we're just looking at the medium threats, which are slightly higher. And what you notice here is that this person right here seems to have been doing some activity that is outside their norms and certainly outside the system norms. So with this, we can now start to get an idea of what's going on in our system. Once we've gotten this idea with the analysis, now what we can do is we can start building out some monitoring rules. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new rule here. I'm just going to go ahead and call this fishnet. And what you see here is, first off, I can pick which users and groups to apply it to. I may not want to apply it to everyone. It may just be certain practice groups that I may be looking to monitor, and that's fine. I can choose that. Next thing we do is we set those thresholds. And again, the thresholds are going to be based on the analysis. So when I'm actually creating a rule, we can now look at the analysis that's been done, and I can adjust some of these thresholds if I want to. So for example, if I want to increase the document count or decrease it, or the number of times that something is exported, it's easy enough for me to do right there. So this allows me now to adjust the thresholds and the standard deviations if I want to do that. So this is giving me the opportunity to sort of tweak the system for this particular rule so that I can reduce the number of false positives. Once we've done that, we go on to the next one here. And what it's doing now is it's actually going to go ahead and run this rule and essentially give me a simulation of what it would typically find in the system. Now this might take us about 30 seconds or so here to run, but what you'll see is it'll come back with a screen that looks very similar to what you saw in the analysis phase, just with a bit more information and based on those thresholds that I set. So it comes back with a summary chart. I like the bubble chart myself. I think it's a little more visual. And again, we can tune out the mediums. We can even tune out the highs. And now we see one here that's just specifically urgent. Now, you notice here that that bubble wasn't all that big compared to the other ones. The size of the bubble doesn't correspond to the threat. Again, if we turned on mediums here, notice we have lots of big yellow ones that are not high threats. It's actually our red one here that's the highest, and that's pretty small. Again, this is because this person's activity deviated not only from the system norm, but from their own personal norm. This person is acting in a way that's not the way they normally would act. So that's why they've been flagged. If we come into the detail view, now we can start to get some of the specific information. And we see that Allison here, and these names have all been anonymized, by the way, but it is based on real data that we got from a firm. You see here that, basically her score is a 4. She's got a high score, and these bubbles here represent her deviations. Now, a gray bubble means that this person deviated outside the firm norm, the organizational norm. A black border around it is the indicator that they also deviated from their own personal norm. So anytime you see the gray circles with the dark borders around them is an indicator that this person has gone outside both the firm and their own personal behavior patterns. And then based on those numbers, we can run an analysis to come up with the actual score itself. So that's why this person is showing at that particular point. But again, what we're doing here is we're creating this rule. This is allowing us to simulate the rule, based on the information that comes back. we might look at this and say, okay, this is great. Or we might look at it and say, well, this is a little bit too sensitive because I know Allison's not doing what this seems to indicate she's doing, so I need to go back and readjust my thresholds accordingly. For our purposes here, we'll say that this looks good. So we'll go ahead and click Next, and the next step here is to set the rule schedule. How often do we want this to run? Do we want it to run daily? Do we want it to run hourly? Do we just want to run it once a week or once a month? We can go ahead and set that and choose, you know, when we want to run it, and then we can set who to notify, who gets the report that gets generated from this. And then finally, once we've done that, now we can just go ahead and activate the rule. What gets produced by the rule is a report, and I'm going to come in here and show you a sample report. This is what it looks like. What you'll have is a notification that goes out to those people. They'll have access to these reports. They can go in and take a look. And again, the report looks real similar to what you saw before, just has more information. So with these reports, we're able to see, you know, lots more information here, you know, on the individual people. If I go ahead and click on a person in the report, it actually drills into that person now and allows me to see some of the specifics. So we can see the actual matter activity, the actual document activity. We can see the individual user activity. What were they producing versus consuming versus sharing, emailing out, things like that. These are all actionable. So if I want to drill into what was happening on January 21st, I can go ahead and do that, and I can see it over time. So I can actually see what time of the day that person was more active and so forth. So this is very useful information for starting to really get down to the nitty-gritty as far as what's happening in your system. Okay. So that's iManage Threat Manager. At this point, I think what we'll do is I think we do have another couple slides here to finish off on. You know, basically, the question is, is your firm ready for iManage 10? If you've liked what you've seen here, if you currently have a DMS and you're looking to upgrade, or you don't have a DMS and what you've seen here, piques your interest, please reach out to WAMS. They'll be in contact with us and happy to talk to you about that. So at this point, I think what I'll do is I'll go ahead and turn it back over to you, Ashley, if that's okay. And I think we have some time for some questions here at the end, if anybody has any.
All right, thank you, Scott. So let's go ahead and start answering some of these questions here. So one question I have is, how secure is the iManage cloud?
It's a bit of an open-ended question, but I think it's fair to say that it is the most secure cloud in the industry as far as work product management goes. What iManage has done is we have, since we split from HP, which some of you may be familiar with the story, we split from HP about 1.5 years ago now, we set out to build the best cloud in the industry for the legal marketplace, specifically for work product management. We hired an entire internal team to basically build one from the ground up. We have 2 data centers in the US, one in Chicago, one on the East Coast. We have a data center in Australia. We have 2 data centers in the UK. We have a data center in Brazil and are in the process of standing up data centers in Canada and Singapore as well, and will continue to expand across the world. The data centers themselves meet all of the typical security requirements as far as physical security, biometric access to actually get in. From a perimeter standpoint, everything is secured and meets all industry standards as far as security into the cloud, and combined with tools like iManage Threat Manager, that gives you, additional comfort to know that you can detect activity on the inside. As I said before, all the content is HIPAA compliant, meaning it's encrypted both at rest and in transit. And for an additional layer of security, if it's necessary for you, if it's a requirement, we can produce the encryption keys using a basically a hardware key store that will go ahead and generate your encryption key that then you will own. And once you have the encryption key, that's owned by you. Even iManage doesn't have access to your content. So If that's an additional layer of security that you need, we can go ahead and provide that to you. And again, happy to have deeper conversations with folks around security, specifically, what we're doing, as far as perimeter security as well, in one-on-one conversations.
All right. Thank you. Next question. How do you get into the system? Is it a download or web-based?
Both. Most of what I showed here is all web-based. So I just simply logged in through our main login page, and off you go. And that works from both a desktop-based browser as well as a mobile device. The Office integration, the integration with Microsoft Office, is a small download. It installs as a plugin into Microsoft Office. That includes both things like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and Microsoft Outlook for the email management. The plugin itself is very lightweight. It communicates with our system, either whether it's on premises for you or in our cloud, over a very lightweight HTTPS-based protocol. So that means that all of the typical components that would have to be installed, things like Windows DLLs and things like that, those are all a thing of the past. We're communicating directly with our system just over HTTPS. So even though it's a desktop install, it's still using web technologies to communicate with the backend.
All right, next question. How is this program priced? Is it annually, monthly, by user?
That's a discussion that you'll do best to engage with the folks at WAMS and an iManage sales rep. However, I will say that for on-premises, we have a perpetual licensing model that's sold per seat, and for the cloud, it's priced monthly with a monthly subscription per user.
Okay, great. Next question. Does iManage Cloud work with any device to access the DMS?
It does. It does. Any device, whether it be phone, tablet, or desktop-based.
Okay, great. And I think we have time for about one more question here. How secure is the iManage Cloud? Oh, I'm sorry. What are any known compatibility issues if we want to upgrade to iManage Work 10?
iManage Work 10, the browser-based solution that I showed you, the browser-based user experience, none at all. It's in your browser, so you don't have any compatibility issues there at all. For the Office integration and the Outlook integration, those require Office 2013 or 2016. So you do need to be on at least Office 2013. Now that said, if you're an existing iManage user, the iManage version 10 server is still backward compatible with the older versions of our clients. So if you happen to be running our desk site or file site 9.3 or 9.2 or 9.0 or even back to 8.5, those will still continue to work with the iManage version 10 server. So I've had some customers where they say, well, we have some of our offices have already upgraded to Windows 2013. We'd like to deploy version 10 on the desktop for them, but for those that haven't deployed it yet, they're still on Office 2010 or 2007. They still need to use the old desk site and file site. That's fine. They can phase it in. You can't have the two on the same desktop at the same time, but you can certainly have a mixed environment. So if you are looking to upgrade, you got a lot of flexibility there, and you can phase the upgrade in.
Wonderful. Well, that about wraps it up for us today. If you have any further questions, you can contact us at 800-421-7151 and also email me at alop@wamsinc.com if you are interested in a personal demo, and we can answer any other questions that you may have or any that we may have missed in this presentation. We thank you for joining us today.
Thank you very much.